So, I'm making this video today to talk about the new controversy with Xbox and their genius idea to raise their prices even more so. I think that is ridiculous, and I'm really surprised they actually went along through with that plan. I used to have an Xbox 360, and I love that thing. I still have it. I still play it occasionally. I have that and a PS4. And back then it was $500. I think it was $500 for those. It's a 64 gigabyte or 32 gigabyte. I can't exactly remember what the specs are of the Xbox, but I thought back then, years ago, that was a giant chunk of money. And I have hundreds and hundreds of games for that, and I love every single one of them. But when I look at the new Xboxes, where they're almost as much as my desktop here, I've paid around $800 for this desktop, and that is a 5070 with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I forget what other specs are. But the two main ones that I cared about was the RAM and the CPU. And for that time period a couple years ago, top tier. And all I needed to buy was a monitor and my speaker system, and it runs flawlessly. I can play every game I want and the best settings. And it's funny how they expect us to put, for the new Xbox, for $800, a 2 terabyte system and like true 4K and all that stuff. And to be honest, I could care less about 4K and all that nonsense. I really don't care about the resolution or the graphics. All I care about is if the game is fun, it's playable, like it doesn't crash every 2 seconds, and if it's actually enjoyable. I used to play Minecraft all the time. That game is blocks, basically. I loved it. Or you got RuneScape or World of Warcraft. Those games I've played a lot. I still do play them. And they're actually worth it because they're actually fun to me. Now, yes, I could play the new Battlefield in the best graphics and all the settings and do all this other crap. To be honest, I could care less about that. I watch all these other reviewers and gameplays talking about how the graphics and how it looks and all that stuff. Like, dude, I don't care. Be honest, I don't care at all. As long as I can play my game in 30 frames per second or higher than that at a steady frame rate where it doesn't crash or lag out, or you know how it goes like that when you're gaming, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need the best settings, the best graphics to have fun. It's a video game. I have some old systems here. I got a PS2. I love that PS2. It's the best thing ever. And I'm surprised that I think nowadays, I think the peak of gaming, for me at least, or in general for my generation, was most likely either the PS3 to Xbox 360 era to, I think, the PS4 and Xbox One. That, to me, is like the golden years for gaming as a whole. And nowadays, you got the PS5 and the new Xbox Series X. I forgot the name of whatever they chose for it. I kept up on it, but then they kept kind of making them very similar to the other ones, and I was like, I don't really care. They needed a better name for it, obviously. But I think, though, that the new PS5, it looks fun, but I mean, I have a few PS4 games that aren't even compatible with it, so I'm like, well, I just spent $40 or $50 on this game. I can't play it, so that kind of suck if I upgrade to it. And plus, the games nowadays they have, I found it hilarious, the digital versions, the disc-free versions of the PS5 and the new Xbox. and I'm surprised that they are somehow more expensive, even though they do not have the disk drive in them. You would think, I mean, if it has less features of the console, it saves more space on it, it would be significantly cheaper. But somehow, it's not. It's somehow more expensive. Okay, it is the Xbox Series X. My bad. You know, it's like, I get, but it's just so confusing the way they did that. But, yeah. Those. I wish that if they were disc free systems, that they would be significantly more affordable because they have less features in them. And even the games that they have now for it, like the new, like, I'm mainly a console player, but I have a lot of PC games on Steam, and I love Steam. And when you look at like if you go to Best Buy or Target, and the new games they offer for the PS5 and that, it's like, eh? I mean, they're not exciting is what I'm thinking of, but it is kind of, I don't know, the video game industry is kind of in a weird turn, I feel like, because the games they are pumping out aren't the best, or they're just kind of like shovelware games where they're cheaply made and they're just made to make quick buck. Now, if you go on like the Nintendo eShop or something like that, or PlayStation Store or Xbox Store or Steam Store, you can find dozens of those. And they fit a good niche, but they're not really worth the hundreds of dollars you spend on a console or PC or laptop. They're not really worth it. And I am surprised that even nowadays that I've been gaming for all these years, that, I don't know, I think like I was saying before, how the Xbox, the PS4, I think the PC when I had it back in the day, PS3, Xbox 360, those are the best. I would say they were the best. And now maybe it is nostalgia talking about that, but to be honest, I think that the games that they had for the Xbox 360, PS3, like Call of Duty World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, Witcher 2, Halo, almost all the Halos on there. I mean, those are the ones at the top of my head that I have. Minecraft, Deadliest Warrior, I remember that series. I loved that series. I have more fond memories of playing those games than I did when I had the Xbox Series Series S1. One of the early iterations of the Xbox, the newer generation. Like, at least with the PlayStation, you got PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. That's easy enough to remember if it's a new console or not. The Xbox, you have to like look at it, because I read stories how people were buying the wrong system when someone asked for the system because they couldn't name it a lot better. And this video is mainly just a rant about the Xbox and like PlayStation in general, where these new consoles are, they're just so much money, and they're even going up in price even more. Like the Switch is going up in price, the old ones, I don't know why the old ones are. But the Xbox went up significantly. PlayStation's going up more. I'm like, why? I know they're trying to make money. And yes, these companies make a crap load of money. They're not going bankrupt next week if they don't sell an Xbox or PlayStation 5. They're good. Now, and I get that they're in business to make money. We all know this. We all get that. But even like when you look at the developers for these companies, where they'll make a game, and the one thing that always irritated me when game companies like had a story, and then you had to buy the DLC to finish the whole story. I can't remember what game I was playing, but I had to buy the DLC for it, and it was like $30 or $40, and that really pissed me off. And I was like, dude, screw you guys. Now, if you have DLC for the game, I'm all for DLC. I love DLC. If it adds on to the game without like locking it behind a paywall. So like what I just said a second ago, if they block like a big part of the storyline behind a paywall, that sucks. But if they add a different DLC or a different map to it in a different storyline, I'm 100% all for that. And that, to me, is where they were kind of at. So, like, if you guys remember Black Ops 1, when they did, like, the DLC packs for, like, all the zombies and all the multiplayer maps, you get 4 packs for, like, $10 or something. To be honest, I loved that system. I don't know why. I mean, you got a zombies map with like 3 different DLC maps. Maybe because it was back then when I was still in high school, but to be honest, I think that's how I kind of liked the games when they did it back then, where you had certain modes for certain people. Like if you just want to play zombies for $10, you got like Moon or something, or I can't remember the maps, Shangri-La or something like that. And I didn't mind that. We got the 3 multiplayer maps. That's a good business model. When like Call of Duty switched to their live service mode and all that, I kind of gave up on the series after that. Like, I think the latest game I played was Modern Warfare 2. I just got that for PS4. And my god, that was the worst iteration ever. Modern Warfare 1 I liked because I had it on PC, but Modern Warfare 2 on PS4, the first gen PS4, mind you, it was very abysmal, and the storyline was great, but the graphics were kind of grainy. I mean, I still played the whole game, I loved it, but you know, they should have stopped porting it over to last gen at Modern Warfare 1, the remake of Modern Warfare 1. They never should have brought it back to like, oh, Modern Warfare 3 on it. I'm like, really? Why would I spend that? Now, I do have it hooked up to a big TV, so I will gladly play that or one of my other games, but that's the weird thing nowadays. Like, the game companies are just... I don't really know. Because I know I've been thinking about buying the new PlayStation 5 or Xbox, but I'm like, I already got my desktop, I already got a laptop, my PS4, a 360 still. I don't need anything else. So I have certain games for Steam that I love playing, like Final Fantasy, The Division 2, all the Call of Duties, horror games. I love horror games. I'm actually going to make a video for Halloween, or one of my other games for Halloween, because it's October. I love October. It's kind of an all-over rant, so if you guys like this, cool. I haven't made a video in a few weeks because I was playing Dark Souls 1, and I'm like, my Broken Straight Sword series, and I'm like, it's good, but I'm like, it's kind of boring. I don't know, I've played the game numerous times. It's kind of boring because I've played it for so many years. And it's kind of like, I'll, I'll play Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring. I don't know, I got a lot of projects going on here. That's the one thing I always have, projects going on. I'm placing a battery on my Alienware laptop, and I'm deciding if I should either buy the battery because it's about $100 for it, but it might be a used battery, and I don't like buying used parts for stuff. That's just a pet peeve of mine, basically. Like, if I go to Best Buy and look at laptops, something that I'm always doing, I never look at pre-owned or pre-used or whatever, open box or any of that stuff, because I just don't like it. I would rather spend the money on it new, because that way it wasn't used, nothing's wrong with it. You know, the battery could be degraded, it could have viruses on it, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Now, will Geek Squad do that? I don't really know. But I just like buying new products. Like, I find it funny how I was looking at a laptop once, and I could buy a new, what was it, like HP 14, I think it was, for like $125 on sale, I think. Or I could have got it pre-owned for like $150. And it was the same specs and everything. I'm like, what? I had to scratch my head about that one. I'm like, wait, why is it more expensive? It's pre-owned? It should be less expensive by a significant margin. And that, to me, that reminded me of another thing about when I was at the store. They had a sale for a Chromebook I was looking at for $119. I'm like, okay, cool. Looking at it online, I saw the price for it. I'm like, okay, it's for their month of October or whatever word they used for it. I go back a few days later, and that sale is gone now. Now it's on other sale for like $40 more. And I'm like, oh, screw you guys. That is crap right there. To be honest. Because when you name the sale for October, basically, and you raise the price under a different sale of where your tech sale, where that goes till the 20th, the person said, and the other sale has overlaps it. Now, no one told you that when I was looking at it. No one said, oh, this sale ends, and then it'll go up to this price. That, to me, it's kind of shady. And that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for looking at it. For looking at the laptop or the Chromebook. Because I'm like, so you went up in price, even though it's on sale. That is a little crappy on their part. And they should have said that on their website when you looked at it of, oh, that sale ends in 24 hours or next day or anything. They didn't have that. They just said, no. And that to me is so funny that they do that. And their sales, like for laptop, I love this. When you go like Best Buy or Walmart, they're budget laptops. And they're like within, like some of them are almost like $600 for a budget laptop. And I'm like, that's, to me, that's kind of a little out of my price range for a budget laptop. The most I would spend on a budget laptop, to me personally, would be about maybe the upper, like maybe $300. That to me, $300 and under, that to me is a budget laptop. So like a Chromebook for $120. That to me is budget. Or a Asus VivoBook Go for $129. That to me, budget laptop. And those prices I like, because I have these like Alienware laptop, high end gaming. They say that. Oh, it's high end gaming. For that year, I found at Costco, was it, a MSI laptop, 32 gigabytes of RAM with the latest processor for like, was it 32 they wanted or 23? It was kind of pricey. It was a very pricey laptop, but that would outshine the two laptops that I'm tinkering with. And I'm like, those were gaming laptops of their time period. They were the best. And that to me is hilarious about like, oh, people buy the latest iPhones or the latest Androids and stuff. Like, I got a cheap Motorola phone. Podcasts and all that stuff for like $130 or 135, 140. And it's a budget phone. I love the phone. It works great. I have like terabyte of storage almost. I was only like $30. And I'm like, that's amazing. And I don't know, to me, I like a lot of budget stuff. I don't mind it. I don't know why. I think like for like laptops and stuff, like I do. I kind of like, to be honest, I kind of like budget laptops more than like my Alienware or my MSI laptop, because I don't know, it's more fun for me to tinker with it, like install Linux on it and really push what this like shovelware of an item can do. When they said, when I had an Asus VivoBook Go or whatever they call it, like a 4 gigabyte of RAM, it was very affordable. I liked it. And it could barely run Windows 11. Like, it took 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes just to install it. And that was a long time. And I'm like just sitting there like waiting. But then when I installed Linux Mint XFCE, it made the system lightning fast. Now, was I going to compete with my Alienware? No, not the slightest. But I could crank out what I wanted to with it. Programming, light gaming, and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's what I kind of liked it for. And I got rid of it because I got something else. But I'm like, I don't know. That to me, I think is kind of what I like about it. Where like, you can buy a budget laptop for like $200 or $120 or $130, $140, and you can game on these things. You don't need the latest and greatest iBuyPower or the latest and greatest MSI, HP, Alienware. I mean, yes, if you want to spend $1,000 or $1,500 or $1,600, you can. But to be honest, I think nowadays you don't really need to. I mean, personally for me, if I did not have, like, I'm tinkering my MSI and my Alienware, if I didn't have those two laptops, I would just work with my HP laptop that I have. I mean, I have Diablo Immortal on it. It runs fine. I can play the games that I want to play on it. And to be honest, that was a budget laptop I got for like on sale for around I think it was under $300. And then I got more RAM with it, so it's like 24 gigabytes of RAM instead of 8. And that's amazing to me. I'm like, wow. It's actually, now, yes, It's an Intel Cellular processor. It's an i3. It's budget made, but it can game. And it kind of amazes me how, like, I watched different reviewers online. They'll be like, "Oh, you need the latest games or the what do you want, like the Steam Deck or the new ROG Galaxy or one of their handheld items or the newest laptop for gaming." And I'm like, you don't need those. And of course, people buy them. They have good brand recognition. They're good following. But I mean, nowadays with everything getting so expensive, like the PS5, Xbox, the new Switch, all that stuff, I'm like, it's so hard, I guess, nowadays to get stuff that's good quality build. Like, even, like, I might buy a Chromebook this year. And you might say, what the hell am I doing with a Chromebook? To be honest, probably use it for programming, work on Linux container, work with Linux in a container, and cloud-based stuff. That seems kind of fun to me. I had a Chromebook for one day, and I couldn't download Steam or Python IDE, and I returned it the next day. Didn't like it, but after watching more videos on it, I'm like, okay, not for $120. It's not bad to add my collection of laptops I can tinker on. I have a few. I took apart an old, I think it's an HP over there. I took apart the hard drive, looked at the RAM, and I'm like, okay. It's just shovelware at that point. It doesn't really... I have all the screws laying around. I probably one day I'll put it back together, but I'm like, I know that one, the battery was like failing. Like this was like, the battery was degraded so far down, the moment you unplugged it from the power source, it died. So would I like to just undo it all and just unplug the CMOS battery, see if that works it? Yes. I still might figure it out one day, but I mean, the thing is 20 years old plus. Is it cool? Yeah, it's cool. It's got a little clamshell thing where you gotta click to unlock it. I don't know why they went away with that. I love that little feature on it. I don't know why. It's kind of fun. But I don't know. I think technology is advancing so far that it's kind of leaving everyone in the dust. Like with budget laptops going well above $600. I'm like, guys, that's almost mid-range for a good laptop. You could buy their budget line of laptops. You could buy a gaming laptop for that amount of money, almost. Like, they had some off-branded one. It was a gaming laptop at Walmart. Around $600, I think. I can't remember, it was a few years ago, but I'm like, okay. That is a budget gaming laptop. It had like 8 gigs of RAM on it, and like it could play games. Now, will it play in the best settings? No. But if you want to get your intro into gaming, that is the perfect price, I think, if you want to spend that kind of money. Now, you don't need to. I mean, hell, if you just want to play Minecraft, RuneScape, World of Warcraft, you don't need a giant desktop unless you want to play all those games on it. You can play in a budget laptop, and that to me is way more economical than buying a giant laptop or getting an MSI Raider series. I'm like, you don't really need to spend that much money if the games you are looking at don't require it. And for some odd reason, like when you play on like a potato PC or like an Intel Celeron processor, or like 4 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM. That to me is way more fun. Maybe that's just because of my generation, when I grew up in like the PS2 era, the Wii era, but I don't know. It depends on, like, I used to play on this raw Republic of Gamers laptop, and it had 8 gigs of RAM. It was chugging at 30 frames a second playing Black Ops 1. And I loved the damn game. Age of Empires 3 could barely run on it. And it still had a disc drive in it. And that I do miss about PC gaming, that they got rid of the DVD players. Like, when you used to get like Black Ops, or I got a few game cases somewhere around here. We open up the CD port and plug in the game and read a code off, and I don't know. In the span of my years of gaming, all that went away, and we didn't really get that much back for it, really. Like, I don't know. This is a long-winded rant of like PlayStation, Xbox, PCs mostly nowadays. Yeah, this is a long enough rant as it is. I know this is all over the place, but yeah, it's kind of my consensus on it all right now. Like the PlayStation, the Xbox, the PC, they're just too high. Like the prices are way too high nowadays. The game prices, that's gonna be for another topic video, but they're still way too high. But I think that'll be my next topic for video game prices, because that's a good subject for me to talk about for a long time. But if you guys like these former long-winded rants, or just to keep in the background mostly, I'm alright with that. But if you guys want to like and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get this channel off the ground, see how it goes. But I hope you guys all have a great, wonderful day, and have fun gaming and shopping, guys.